Hidden behind manicured hedges and studio spin, Hollywood's strangest mansions whisper stories the red carpet never told. Each estate is a puzzle box of secret tunnels, occult chambers, and hush-money design tricks that kept gossip at bay. Tonight we slip past the wrought iron gates and let the walls talk. If you crave the secrets beneath the glamour, hit that subscribe button and join the investigation. Greystone Mansion. In the winter of 1929, oil Saen heir Ned Doheny and his confidant Hugh Plunkett were found dead inside the mahogany-lined guest room of Greystone, the baronial estate that towers over Beverly Hills. Newspapers splashed theories of murder-suicide, but studio publicists quickly moved to smother the scandal. They insisted the Gothic Tudor showpiece was merely an unfortunate whodunit, then paid journalists to skip follow-ups that might link Hollywood producers who partied there to bootleg liquor rings. Yet the mansion itself whispered otherwise. Secret stairwells no architect would take credit for, a hidden lift that bypassed the grand foyer, and a 3-inch brass spy tube drilled through the billiard room wainscot so a voyeur could watch guests unobserved. Crews who filmed There Will Be Blood decades later reported cold spots near the hallway where Doheny fell. But every time a production mentioned the double killing, an executive from a major studio nudged the script supervisor to cut the reference. Greystone's brooding limestone turrets still gnaw at the legend, forcing visitors to wonder if the estate's greatest mystery is the crime, or the power brokers who buried it. Pickfair Estate. Douglas Fairbanks and Mary Pickford sold the idea of perfect Hollywood romance in fan magazines, so their mansion had to look like Camelot. From the outside, Pickfair shimmered with colonnaded verandas and a Venetian-style reflecting pool. But step past the bronze entry doors and curiosity curdles into disbelief. A speakeasy disguised as a hat closet, murals of Bacchic revels hidden behind crisply framed family portraits, and a conveyor belt buffet that whisked bootleg champagne from the basement to the solarium. When the gossip rags sniffed at Fairbanks' torrid flings, United Artists' fixers offered reporters private screenings of unreleased films, on condition they never describe what they'd glimpsed inside Pickfair. The mansion eventually met the wrecking ball in 1990, but old studio archivists still fight to keep blueprints locked away. They fear revealing just how much of Hollywood's carefully polished glamour was propped up by secret passages and mechanical trickery. The Wolf's Lair. Perched above Laurel Canyon, this 1920s compound looks like a medieval fortress accidentally airdropped into Los Angeles. Gossip tagged it Wolf's Lair after film cowboy Mad Dog Jack Wolf bought the property and installed slit windows wide enough for a rifle barrel. Balconies jut like battlements. A drawbridge once spanned the Koi Moat, and the underground pool connects to a steel-lined panic tunnel that snakes 200 feet to a forgotten service road. Legend says the tunnel stored nitrate film cans too flammable for studio vaults, an insurance dodge no executive wanted exposed. After Wolf's shady bankruptcy, bankers tried to auction the place, but MGM attorneys quietly lobbied to keep bidders away, terrified that newsreels would pan across crates stamped top secret, prop debt, still rusting in the catacombs. Today, real estate brochures call it storybook Gothic, yet neighbors swear they hear the muffled hum of a generator that no electrician has managed to locate. Saen House. Travel down Walden Drive and you'll spot a crooked chimney, sagging gables, and window shutters warped like melted candy. An over-the-top fantasy built in 1921 as a silent film studio's dressing room complex. When the Spadina family relocated the cottage to Beverly Hills, they inherited more than whimsical shingles. Beneath the ersatz thatch lurked an acoustically sealed basement used to dub dialogue long before soundstages were common. During Prohibition, the basement morphed into a clandestine gin bar for directors, looking to avoid police raids at the Brown Derby. Studio PR flax spun the house as harmless storybook architecture, but every time tabloids hinted at its boozy soirees, editors received anonymous envelopes containing stills from unreleased pictures. Blackmail or friendly persuasion, no one knows. Even Walt Disney, scouting inspiration for Snow White, was asked not to photograph the cottage's rear facade, where oddly modern radio antennas poked through fake straw. Some locals insist those antennas fed live surveillance to moguls eager to eavesdrop on rival deals. a fairy tale veneer masking Hollywood's cutthroat core. Ennis House. Frank Lloyd Wright's 1924 Ennis House doesn't look like a residence. It feels like a stepped pyramid pried loose from a Mesoamerican jungle and dropped on the Hollywood Hills. Wright cast every concrete textile block with quasi-glyphic reliefs, claiming he was channeling lost civilizations. That exotic vibe thrilled location scouts. Blade Runner, The Day of the Locust, House on Haunted Hill. Yet producers insisted the end titles list only a private setting. By the late 1940s, the Hilltop Eyrie doubled as a rental retreat for esoteric societies that couldn't meet openly downtown. Rosicrucians, early Dianetics disciples, even Houdini's widow conducting seances. Midnight braziers cracked the fragile blocks, and when neighbors complained about chanting, studio lawyers materialized first, begging police not to raid an expensive period set. In 1959, a mudslide exposed a hidden vault beneath a motor court packed with self-shot ritual footage. Anxious moguls bought the reels, then spent decades lobbying for landmark status. Less out of love for architecture than fear that demolition might unearth proof of the industry's occult flirtations. Even after a $17 million restoration, tours are confined to daylight hours, and docents are told never to mention the windowless annex Wright disavowed. Legends persist that its deepest retaining wall seals a second vault branded with Aleister Crowley's cipher, Hollywood's last literal attempt to hide what really happened among those Meehan blocks. Falcon Lair. When screen idol Rudolph Valentino died in 1926, hysterical fans besieged his Benedict Canyon villa. Studios barricaded the iron gates because Falcon Lair overflowed with curios that could shatter his wholesome image. Leopard skin divans, Turkish water pipes, and a hexagonal alchemy chamber draped in indigo silk, where Valentino hosted desert-themed seances for moguls who'd bankroll anything mystical. United Artists installed caretaker George Ullman to strip incriminating artifacts. Behind a pivoting mirror, he discovered a grotto stacked with imported anise liqueur and letters from European royals requesting private demonstrations. Executives ordered the mirror plastered shut, threatened Ullman with ruin, then dispatched studio carpenters to wall off other secrets, including a tile-lined tunnel descending to a cliffside mausoleum. In the 1940s, cryptic lights flickered again. Gossip columnist Hedda Hopper hinted avant-garde filmmaker Kenneth Anger had rented the estate for midnight screenings. Her column vanished when Paramount bought the ad space. The villa was razed in 2006 for stability concerns, yet demolition contracts traced back to an anonymous studio pension fund, proof that, even as rubble, Falcon Lair could still embarrass Hollywood. The gatehouse remains under CCTV and no drones signs, while hikers swear the canyon sometimes echoes with Valentino's favorite tango and the scent of crushed anise. The emptiness itself is the cover-up, absence turned into the perfect hiding place. Saen House. Lloyd Wright's jagged Saen House, built in 1926, resembles a carved stone mask glaring over Los Feliz. Physician George Hoddle bought it in 1945 and converted the basement into a private operating suite, an open secret among studios whose starlets required discreet procedures. Rumor had it Hoddle kept photographic negatives of those surgeries in a cedar cabinet behind the fireplace. When aspiring actress Elizabeth Short frequented his salons, MGM security logged her visits, fearing scandal. After her mutilated body was found in 1947, detectives bugged the mansion, yet every slanted wall and textured surface swallowed their microphones. The tapes vanished into an evidence locker Hollywood attorneys routinely reviewed for privilege claims, and Hoddle slipped to Asia before trial. The house itself seems complicit. Air vents carry whispers across rooms. The courtyard pool reflects visitors as faceless silhouettes, and hidden stairwells twist with no right angles, perfect for eluding pursuers. Renovations in the 2000s revealed military surgical bottles wedged in a crawl space. The photos were immediately purchased by a private media archive and never released. Real estate listings flaunt the Mayan revival grandeur, but forbid photography of the basement stairwell. Guests leave convinced the geometric grin still hides an unfiled autopsy report on Hollywood's ugliest crime. exactly the secret studios paid to keep buried. Alwood Estate, set on 10 cloistered acres across from the Playboy Mansion, Alwood has worn more faces than the stars who passed through its iron gates. Architect Robert D. Farquhar drafted the 1936 Italian Renaissance palace for oil heiress Florence Letts, but subsequent owners, including Tony Curtis, Sonny and Cher, and a shadowy financier tied to Columbia Pictures, kept adding eccentric wings. Original blueprints show a clean axial layout. The current floor plan resembles a curling nautilus, studded with corridors that double back on themselves. Identical mahogany doors that open onto mirrored vestibules, and a marble echo gallery where whispered deals bounce perfectly to a hidden listening alcove 2 rooms away. In the 1950s, a tunnel was bored beneath Sunset Boulevard to an unmarked service bungalow, allegedly so moguls could reach discreet rendezvous without paparazzi flashbulbs. Property records redacted the passage, but plumbers who repaired its sump pumps in 1977 signed non-disclosure agreements drafted by 20th Century Fox attorneys. More unsettling is the estate's morphing facade. Contractors discovered removable limestone panels concealing steel shutters, war-era fallout defenses nobody filed with the city. Every new buyer inherits keys that fit no visible lock and a binder marked "Do Not Reproduce" studio copy, detailing how to reroute power when sensitive meetings require total blackout. Realtors gush about old Hollywood glamour, yet brochures forbid drone shots above 40 feet, lest the roof's armored skylights betray Alwood's true purpose. A mansion turned safe house where Hollywood power brokers hid, sometimes from the world, sometimes from one another. Paramore Estate, perched like a Spanish Revival cathedral over Silver Lake, the 1923 Canfield Moreno Estate earned its Paramore nickname after silent film star Antonio Moreno installed French mistress Daisy Canfield there, while his legal wife posed for fan magazines downtown. Hollywood's moral guardians tried to bury the scandal by rebranding the villa as a girls' school. Nuns moved in, but the subterfuge only deepened. Daisy died in a mysterious cliffside crash, and convent diaries describe midnight knocks on the wrought iron gates and limousines disgorging actresses who left before sunrise. Inside, the mansion feels part cloister, part pleasure palace. A columned music room with cherubs whose plaster eyes pop out, revealing peepholes, a tile-lined plunge pool framed by confessionals, and a turret observatory cluttered with astronomy gear later traced to Howard Hughes. Locals swear Roosevelt Hotel bellman once ferried reels of unfinished films to secret test screenings in the estate's subterranean ballroom, chosen because its hillside construction muffled projector noise, and because no critic would dare trespass on church property. When rocker Moby purchased Paramore in 2015, he found intercom wires leading nowhere, and a vault labeled choir robes, packed instead with nitrate stock labeled "Destroy After Print." Today, the estate hosts weddings, yet event contracts bar photographers from shooting the northeast wing, where faint perfume and Gregorian echoes, the mistress and the nuns, still mingle in the same haunted air Hollywood spent decades pretending was pure. Beverly House. Everyone remembers Beverly House from The Godfather and JFK's honeymoon, but few know why Hollywood once lobbied to keep it off postcards. Newspaper titan William Randolph Hearst built the pink stucco Leviathan in 1927 for actress companion Marion Davies, embedding 50,000 square feet of contradictions, an H-shaped library whose acoustics funnel every spoken word to the suite above, double walls filled with hollow clay tiles that dampen microphones, and a hidden staircase twisting behind a mural of Spanish galleons, leading to a concrete room with theater seating for 12. During the Hays Code era, MGM executives screened rough cuts there, free to debate risque scenes beyond production office censure. More cryptic is the Rose Corridor, a vaulted loggia wreathed in bas-relief blossoms. Press a carved pedal, and the marble bench slides aside, revealing an elevator shaft plunging to a vault that once stored Hearst's newsreel outtakes, including footage of studio heads in compromising celebrations. When Orson Welles sought those reels while crafting Citizen Kane, lawyers invoked national security-style injunctions. Even after Hearst's 1951 death, successive owners, Aristotle Onassis, the Milken brothers, kept the vault sealed, citing gravitational instability, though engineers gave it a clean bill. The mansion's current listing trumpets legendary grandeur, but inspection reports redact the basement entirely. Guides whisper that a looped projector sometimes flickers at 3 a.m., replaying parties nobody wants unearthed. Beverly House isn't merely a relic. It is Hollywood's collective nervous system. Every pulse recorded, every secret embalmed in rose-pink concrete. Draped in glamour yet drenched in secrecy, these 10 mansions expose Hollywood's hushed double life. Their walls guard whispers of power, passion, and peril, reminding us the past never stays buried. Keep seeking the truth between the tiles. Thanks for watching. Stay curious and subscribe today for more untold stories.